Welcome back. Today we're here with Mr. Edward Githinji, and we've just finished an interesting discussion on how you're able to grow your business and how you're able to make sure that it's properly structured financially. Now, I want to know, so the business has grown. How do you make sure it's able to last? How do you make it last across very many generations? So, Edward, we want to know, brick house, architecture business, how have you made sure that it lasts as a legacy?
Um, Interesting question. In this way, I'll tell you. Um, since independence, um, Kenya has only got two thousand registered architects. I think probably 2,500 right now since independence. Of those 2,500, I think the number that is practicing currently is like 1,000. Because probably many are retired. Uh, Fortunately, some may have passed. Others decided to pursue other interests. Like a lot of them are photographers nowadays. Gen Z, yeah, Gen Z architects are all choosing photography. I don't understand what that is about, man.
Quick
Like,
money, quick
look,
money.
why are you starting six or anyway? Um, so there are only 1,000 architects now. Because of that, again, there are not so many farms, registered farms in the country. When we started out, you know, like when I started out, sorry, in campus, there are very few farms that we knew about that everyone wanted to go work in. A lot of these farms were originally Mzungu owned, like from independence. So they'd done a lot of the buildings you see in Nairobi, on Harambe Avenue, wherever, the likes, yeah? And and all of them had originated from one farm called Symbion, then broken down into
Eh,
a number of other farms, yeah?
wow.
But all those farms had been developed according to the founders. They never saw anything beyond the founders. So, like where my partner was working, it took some realization at work for him to quit. That when he realized that um, the founder of that farm, and I've told you he'd been practicing for 30 plus years. He he was doing it for himself and will never give out the farm to my partner and his colleagues. His colleagues were actually my classmates. The guy had taken 4 guys from my class. So they all quit at the same time.
Because your growth is capped, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
really
you just
grow.
know
Yeah.
this farm is this guy. And
Mm,
this guy is this farm.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. So of course when we started out, we realized that's a flaw because all these farms will die with their founders. So we decided to do it different. Um, so we started on a very, I'll say, okay, not intensive, that's not the word, but we worked a lot with interns from way back when, 2013, the works, yeah. So there are guys who interned with us in their third, fourth, fifth, sixth years. You just bring in interns at any given opportunity. Some will disappoint, some will excel, and some will buy into the dream. So two bought into the dream. They interned with us all their campus years, got into the market. We employed them in full. They got registered. Registration happens after 2 years. Then they bought into the dream. Actually, there were 3 of them at that time, but one of them still did not fully buy into the continuity dream. He wanted to start his own thing afresh. And here we were offering our entire portfolio. Like, you don't have to go hustle like we did. You know, use what we have, grow yourself. Yeah. So these two joined us. They're 10 years my junior. And they do know that that is the process that everyone has to go through. So even right now, I can tell you I've identified already a lady who I know will be part of the directors in the farm in the next 4 years. And she's doing her 6th year because she's interned with us since her 2nd year, and she's exceptional. Yes, so it ensures that continuity, whether I'm there or not, the farm still remains and still is able to function. A lot of now those old farms are trying to give out directorship to young guys, my peers. But you see, there's a gap because those farms, the founders, they're all in their 80s by the, I kid you not. There's like a group of guys, they're not that many. They're all in their 80s, and then they're trying to give directorship to 40-year-olds, meaning there's a whole generation of 70, 60, 50-year-olds that have been
They've been erased from the market.
erased.
Yeah.
And yet, that's the generation in power, in government, high places, yeah? So it means there's a network that has already been completely lost. It's like those old farms are starting afresh. So we end up finding that when we compete with them, even in tenders, we beat them. So that's how we do it. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good strategy in legacy building, because it means that since they've bought into your vision, they can also buy others into the vision. So you've created that continuity, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm sure one of the reasons you're able to do this is because you're an expert. You know about succession, you know about estate planning. So a lot of people want to know, with estate planning, you now have not just the business, but sometimes you have family as well. How do you manage that relationally? And then even economically, what does it require of you to be an estate manager, to be the steward of an estate?
There's a term I'm looking for, but it means, long of it means just putting your emotions aside. Yeah, there's a term for that. Anyway, what I mean is, if you look at an estate and you start managing it with emotions about, oh, sijui huyu alinifanyia, you know, the complexities,
especially with family, it's very complicated. Yeah.
Then the estate collapses, and we have so many examples out there. Great estates, great families collapse because everyone is bringing in their historical injustices, and there's greed and wanting so much for myself. Estates should be run like businesses. Yeah. It's never easy, though, because there are those who feel like they need to accelerate their lifestyles because they've been lacking, and they need to get to a better place. Just because you have been doing well, and this is just complementing what you already have, I also want what you have, you know. So they want that accelerated, and then they end up making emotional decisions. That's why I'm saying emotions have to be aside. They end up selling, and then suddenly they don't know what to do with huge chunks of money that they've never handled. So what I would advise is just run the estate like a business. Yes, financial setups will change. I mean, financial
Yeah.
abilities will
There's
change.
gain. That's the truth.
There's gain.
The reason we're doing estate planning is to make sure the next generation
But it has
wins.
to, the person has to adapt
Yeah.
to that gain, and not the estate to adapt to the person's needs.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Personally, that's how we do it in our estate. We always have family meetings. We always review
Mm.
what needs to be done,
Okay.
what needs to be sold, because again, attachments to property have made land next to westlands have fodder for cows because it can't be sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
People are
such
very
prime property, yeah?
Yeah.
We
But
see
no one else
cows
can
being
go.
kept there, zero grazed, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so some things need, it took a generation to pass on in Ruaka for Ruaka to become a developed space. Ruaka 15 years ago, actually when I was starting out in my practice, Ruaka was a farm. I designed apartments there. Yeah, and I would be taken to places with cow sheds. I wouldn't see it. How is this gonna work out?
But today,
We
today,
shall good land.
hey, you'd have made a gain because honestly, today, and it's not
Yeah.
the only one. I mean, it's Rwaka, it's also the Mbegwa on Kiambu Road.
Exactly.
It was like a farm, but today, if you look at the developments there, it's definitely coming up, right?
Exactly.
And I even wonder, so how do you then decide, now having dealt with estates, how do you decide which properties to exit, which ones to keep? What's the
No, again, it's like a business. You look at what will bring general gain to the business, to the family, in essence, yeah. So putting emotions and attachments aside, if a sale here would generate income to develop here and bring more income than just looking at two pieces of land just because they were handed down, and probably the individuals who own this piece of land according to the estate cannot generate the income to ever develop it based on their financial abilities, yeah? So why not make a sale? I mean, whatever income they generate from here, they can go purchase land elsewhere and hand it down to their children, no? Legacy, look, I don't know how far back you know in your family, but I don't think it's more than 5 generations. But on a day like today, 1,000 years ago, there's someone who existed so that you can exist. You have no clue who they were or what they owned. Yeah, so
quite unfortunate.
exactly. So I always say, if you can put that emotional aspect aside and look at a family estate as a business and run it as such, then gain will adapt. No, the people end up adapting to that gain from me. Yeah.
And so the thing with succession and the things with a lot of estates is you're probably not the first person who created the estate, right? You're being handed over an estate. So how do you balance the vision bearer and now you who's living in the current circumstances, which may be very different from those that the vision bearer had? How do you balance both? Because like you're saying, people get very attached to things, This was dad's house, this was dad's car, this was. So how do you balance, okay, yes, but then also this is, what conversations do you have? How do you really get to people?
Real conversations. Look, again, these are just things. Yeah, I understand. Maybe say when that patriarch or matriarch was writing that down, had this in mind. Fair enough. There's some things, of course, you wouldn't really meddle with, like say, if say, I know, like my granddad, for example, he set aside a piece of land where all of us were to be buried. Are going to be buried. Sorry. Yeah. So that's where anyone in our extended family is laid to rest. It's a nice sanctuary. It's beautiful, has a home there, can accommodate generations. Yeah. But whatever land there is outside of that, of which his children became beneficiaries and his children's children, like I am a beneficiary. That's why I was doing the Dani. Yeah. So
I don't think he'd ever imagined there'd be Tania there.
yeah. But no, what I know he'll never imagine is if there was an estate there. Now, just the other day, because my MP, I'm sorry, I don't think he'll come back, but he's really trying his best. He messed up with the Gen Z, so he's not coming back though. By trying to win us over, he tarmacked our shags till the door. Yeah. If my granddad was to come back to life, he would not believe that there's tarmac outside his gate. Now, what that tarmac has done in the last 2 years, guys have started buying land, chopping it up, quarters, halves. It's becoming like a Tigoni of sorts. It's just here in Kiambu, but guys are just putting up maishonettes, the like, because it's so close to getting to Westlands and there's tarmac throughout. Why would I farm? Why not put up an estate? So if I was to abide by what
was then?
yeah, so
And things have changed.
things change. Same with my business. There's AI. I have to adapt. So it's always good to look at what dispensation you're in that moment. In spite of everything else, if you can still honor with that new dispensation, say, okay, we should not sell, but we can lease, develop and lease out. Why not? But not strictly farm, because that was what it was intended to be originally. It doesn't make sense.
And what I wonder is, I mean, you've talked a lot about removing the emotion from it. So even as we come to a close, I want to find out, at what stage would you recommend professionalizing to kind of help the estate? So one, actually, would you recommend professionalizing the estate? So adding some trustees who are independent, or what would be your advice regarding that to try and take out a lot of the emotion and run it like a business?
You just said it, trustees. Look, no one's a genius. In fact, families will always fight. Those are the sweetest fights, man. Like when you watch people, brothers and sisters, and I die laughing, man. In fact,
I have siblings. I don't know if it's the sweetest fight.
No, outside looking in, it's most hilarious. Yeah. So, of course, the emotion will always be there. But trustees take away that.
Okay. And at what stage? Like, when were you like, okay, you know what? We need to have trustees. Was it at the inception? Was it, how did you realize it?
Inception, okay. Yeah, because I mean, you read a lot and you realize this is common, so common. Like there are billion-shilling empires that have collapsed because of family feuds. It's not worth it. Just plug it from the onset, like set the right foundation, come up with a proper trust, have trustees run the entire thing, and let the businesses grow. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I think you've given great insights. Thank you very much, Edward. We're so happy to have you here. And I'm sure everybody has been very happy to hear you. The architects out there, those looking to start a succession plan, we're so happy for having you today as well. And yes, as we come to a close, I'd just like to look back to you. And in case you ever wanted to come back, we'd be very, very happy to have you. So, yeah, that's all for today. Have an amazing day.